Welcome to Worldwide Business. I'm Kathy Ireland. It's challenging for community banks to keep up with new technology and ever-changing security guidelines. What banks need is a solution that frees them up to focus on operations. FiNet has a solution that does just this, and we have the special opportunity to speak with President Richard Camardo about it. Welcome, Rick.
Thank you.
Rick, could you please describe the challenges facing community banks when it comes to merchant services programs?
Well, community banks are challenged from the standpoint of keeping up with the technology that's going on in our industry right now. It's kind of the perfect storm of what's going on right now with chip card technology, compliance issues. It's very hard for a community bank to engage in all of those solutions and try to do it internally. So they need a partner that can help them do that and understand what the needs of their customers are.
And how does FiNet help support them and grow these programs?
We provide very hands-on support where all we do is provide support to community banks and financial institutions. So we're very much a hands-on organization. We provide training, education, a lot of the resources that they need, marketing materials, so that they can feel comfortable and confident in providing those services to their business customers.
Let's pause for a closer look at FiNet in this Worldwide Business Field Report.
Well, the benefit of using a company like FiNet versus having your own program is really about risk mitigation. Companies that are under 20 billion in size should not be in the merchant services issuance and procurement business. So they should look at a company to outsource that to, such as FiNet, especially community banks under $1 billion. By far, most community banks are under $1 billion. So they really can't make enough money to offset the risk in doing it themselves. They really need to have a partner like FiNet to take on that risk, help them manage the delivery of those services to their customers and increase the level of service. Well, a company like FiNet, being a community bank-based company, that's primarily who their customer base is. They're someone you can trust with your customer, and that's so important in today's day and age to have a company that has your morals and values the same way that we have in the financial institution, because we're making that handoff, and it might as well be us that's providing these services, and so that the arm that we do make the referral to has to have the same stent towards quality and service.
Rick, could you please talk about the state of the payments industry? What direction is it headed?
Well, it's pretty much heading in the same direction that a lot of the industries are, very high tech. The perfect storm of EMV, the chip card technology, is hitting along with the mobile wallets and the cloud-based solutions for merchants to do processing. So the technology is as great as I've ever seen it for as long as I've been in the industry, and it seems to be going at a very fast pace.
And can you please explain why community banks should focus their attention on merchant services?
Well, it's a great foot in the door business solution for community banks. It's the one product that all businesses need, whether you're small or large, the ability to accept credit cards. And community banks, financial institutions are still the #1 resource that businesses want to get that service from. So community banks have a great draw to local businesses, and having the technology and the products to be able to provide them is a great in for them to get their account.
And what are the reasons that a bank would want to use a solution such as FiNet instead of handling merchant services on their own?
Well, if you handle merchant services on your own, there's a huge expense, and there's also a liability with having that product. So those are the two main reasons that a community bank should outsource that solution. Aside from the fact that keeping up with the technology, it's all that we do, and we have a difficult time keeping up with everything. So for a community bank that focuses on so many different other products and solutions, to focus that much or provide that much resource to merchant services would be a challenge.
And what should a community bank expect from their merchant services program?
A community bank should expect pretty much to have the same mentality with their partner as they have, which is providing personalized service and support, dedicating themselves to making the customer's needs come first, and providing just an honest, competitive solution for their business customers while giving great service and support.
And what level of involvement does or should a bank have when utilizing a third-party company such as yours for merchant services?
Well, we try to promote interaction, a lot of activity with our community banks. We feel that when they support the program and they're active in that role, then the merchant is much more open to feeling that it's not being outsourced, that it's a bank-driven product. So everything that we do from a marketing standpoint, from a sales and service standpoint, is to engage the bank in everything that we do so that they feel they're a part of the solution.
And Rick, how does a community bank benefit from a relationship with FiNet versus one of the larger players in the industry?
Well, all that we do is provide service and support to community banks, so they have our complete dedication in knowing that we're guiding everything that we do from the standpoint of knowing that the community bank lives off of personalized service, being important in the communities that they service, and we strive to do that same thing. So we adopt that mentality, that philosophy, and try to make them feel that how they would treat their business customer, that's the exact same way we're going to, but still allowing our technology and our products and services to kind of bring them to the forefront of competing with the bigger banks for offering that product, for offering merchant services.
Heartland is very involved in the merchant service process. We are at the front end of the entire process. So we are the ones doing the prospecting and sending the referrals to FiNet. FiNet then comes on the back end and does the underwriting and also the evaluation of what the true needs are of the client, and then provides a whole host of solutions, whether it's a virtual terminal product or a EMV product, that you may have to swipe your card or stick or insert your card into. A whole host of different services that they offer, and those are things that we don't primarily offer here. We rely on them to provide those services. Well, yes, but merchant services can be profitable for a bank. It just depends on how much of the work you're doing yourself and how much risk you're taking on your own balance sheet and through your own operations. So that balance is very important. The larger the institution is, the more risk they can take. They're dealing in much bigger buckets of assets. The smaller financial institutions, where people are wearing more and more hats, 5 and 6 different positions in one person, they really can't afford to have somebody on their own staff solely doing merchant services. So a company like FiNet is a great augmentation to your staff to try to make the offering of those products and services more profitable.
Could you share how FiNet's approach meshes with the community bank world?
We try to keep the community bank that we're servicing and supporting, they're all different, they're all unique in their own way, and we try to make sure that we treat each bank individually and that we're not putting a black and white program out there. We try to work within the individuals that work at the community banks, and each bank has different niches that they specialize in, so we make sure that we're very flexible in adopting that.
And can you please explain how technology has changed the way that merchants accept payments?
Oh, it's incredible right now. The United States has finally adopted the chip card technology, so everybody should be seeing their credit cards coming with chips now. Merchants should be having the equipment to be able to accept chip cards. So it's it's very prominent in Europe, and unfortunately, we were one of the last countries, if not the last country, to adopt this practice. But we've suffered enough with breaches and the fraud that has occurred that it became mandatory that we had to. So the technology is such that it's going to get much safer to use a credit card. It already was safe for the individual, but for the businesses and the community banks that support that, there was a lot of liability and exposure. And with this new technology, the mobile wallet solutions, while not only being technically savvy, they're also a much more secure environment for processing transactions.
Rick, what products are merchants using?
Merchants are using a wide variety of products and solutions right now. It has really escalated into the technology with the mobile phones and the tablets. So it's becoming very common for merchants to be able to use those devices to not only do card-present transactions, but card-not-present transactions. So There's web-based solutions, cloud-based solutions that are much more secure because the data is being stored in the cloud. And then there's still your basic terminal that you see at a lot of the small mom and pops where it's just a single device that can accept the credit card and process the transaction for the merchant.
And can you please talk about educational resources? Are there any available for community banks and for their merchants?
Well, there is if they use FiNet. We pride ourselves on our education. We actually developed a product called FiNet University where we go to our bank partners and hold classes and talk about mobile devices, talk about EMV. They love it because it's an area that they're not getting a lot of education from other resources. So the more comfortable and confident they feel in knowing about the solution, that makes them that much more confident to be able to sell and service it.
And with so much focus on security and fraud prevention, what steps is FiNet and the rest of the payment industry taking?
Well, again, the big jump right now is the chip card technology. We are promoting a program, especially through our affiliation with the ICBA, which is the large National Bank Card Association, to provide EMV equipment to all new businesses. That reduces fraud and doesn't allow for the card to be made to be counterfeited and tampered with in any way. So that is the main technology, along with compliance issues that we deal with. So there's a lot of focus on the technology and trying to keep up with the fraud that goes on in our industry, which is a huge expense in our world.
And customer service is always a high priority. Can you please share with us your service philosophy?
Our service philosophy, again, is pretty much same in line with the community bank, where you call our office, someone answers the phone, you talk to an individual. We provide dedicated sales and service support to each of our bank partners, our financial institution partners, so that they call an individual, not going in the queue and getting the next and then having to re-explain everything all over again. So that personal rapport and that personal relationship goes a long way towards solidifying our relationship with the community bank.
And Rick, can you speak a little bit about your background and why did you start this company?
I worked at a financial institution in the mid-'80s in Ohio and was fortunate enough to start when credit card terminals were first being introduced into the market. That was the last big technology leap. And I just fell in love with the product and very passionate about it, love doing it. Don't know what else I would do other than credit card processing, but it has allowed me to provide the service to the community bank world that was desperately needed in their world. So it's been a great fit. I understood banking, I understand merchant services, and the marrying of the two products made it a natural fit for us.
What's been most rewarding to you about this career?
Being able to bring in other very passionate people into the company that share in the same beliefs and to see the rewards of banks endorsing our program, associations like the ICBA and state associations that endorse our program. They put a lot of faith in us. A lot of their credibility is based on us performing. So that is very rewarding to hear the compliments and all of the praise that we get when we do a good job taking care of every merchant, regardless of whether they're large or small.
Rick, it sounds like FiNet is a solid resource to provide community banks with the peace of mind that they need for their merchant services programs. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for sharing your powerful story.
Thank you.